Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we are going to be jumping down into the charts for XRP to see what's been going on most recently and what I expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. It's completely free to join, so why not check it out and let me know in the comments below what you think. Let's jump down into XRP here, right? Because we've got some interesting stuff that's been going on. It's been a little bit slow. We didn't really have to do an update yesterday so much on XRP here, but we're going to obviously just start off on the hourly chart. We are paired up with USDT and Binance as the data source. So as you can kind of see, right, we had that high point at 93 cent. That's just up here. We obviously had the pullback down. We had the triangular wedge. We had the breakdown from the wedge. Okay, pretty standard stuff, ABC. It's actually a complex correction, essentially. Now we are looking at moving on up here. Okay, we have our B wave target. This actually is forming on the top of our resistance line. Okay, this coming in about 86.74, and it's in an approximate range. Like we might go a little bit higher, we might fall a little bit lower, but it's kind of going to be in this area, right? That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Essentially, now this line actually crosses all the way across here and matches up with this line, this high point. Okay, so essentially, if we were to draw this all the way across, you would actually see that it would be also just here, right? We have the support, we have the resistance, and we also have resistance this side. Okay, and that is 86.7. And so that's kind of what we're looking at. And of course, I've marked this up as a big A wave down, okay, a B wave up, and then we'll have a C wave down lower, okay. And now that is literally not confirmed. That is just how I'm kind of looking at it on a greater scale. As we kind of like zoom out into higher time frames, you don't see some of the complexities of it. You just see it as ABC. But essentially what you've got here is this complex move playing out, and this could take us down to 72.7. However, right now on this hourly chart is looking like we should be thinking about a push upwards, okay, up first. So we obviously haven't come to our B range high just yet. So if we start thinking about what's going on here, we actually have an ABC up, we have an ABC down, and we actually have an A wave up here. Not impulsive, I don't think, but we'll just check it anyway to make sure, because you know we don't want to miss anything. Let's quickly just check. I'm pretty certain that it isn't, so we'll just go ahead and check it. For our sanity's sake, we'll just go grab the fib, we'll run it from the bottom here, and we'll just throw it up here. You can see that we actually just went up a little bit above the 1-to-1 ratio, and we came up almost to the 1.236. So we can, of course, mark this up as A wave up, B wave down, and C wave up, okay? We just get that slight overextension on the C wave. This is actually indicating that we should pull back down. However, there's a couple of caveats to this. We've got two different scenarios that could play out. And this looks more and more likely that we'll push up, but we want to also just be aware of a couple of things. So what I'm going to do is grab a horizontal ray. I'm going to park one right at the top there, and I'm going to park one right at the bottom here. Okay, and so this basically on the low side is 82.77, and at the high end this is 85.18. Okay, and what I'm going to show you is that we've got the option here of a bounce up and then a pull back down. Okay, and if we lose this 82.77, then we are going to be pulling down. Okay, and I'll show you the most common area that this would actually land on. Okay, it's no guarantee that it comes down as low as this, but it could potentially, depending on if this goes up any higher, going down to about 81.52. Okay, which should pretty much put us a double bottom here with this line. And again, you could articulate that as a head and shoulder, whatever you kind of, you know, takes your fancy. Now, that's one option, but there's other options here as well. So let me remove this Fibonacci, and the other option is in fact that, you know, we've got this this low point just here, right? And this could be, it could be an option. It's usually uncommon, but it is a possibility. And we could have 5 waves. We could acknowledge that there could be 5 waves inside here, or alternatively we just got A, B, and a short C wave just there. I think for the most part though, we should probably think this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's also an option. Let me just grab hold of this and just turn up the transparency there. So there's that as an option, 5 waves, right? So we end up with potentially a finishing move there in that regard, and in which case we wouldn't come down lower. Okay, and this is actually now tracking up. So one to kind of just keep an eye on here. It would be very unusual and irregular to have that like this, but it is 5 waves if you want to count it that way. Now we are looking at tracking up on that scenario, which means this is an A wave going up, and we'll have a B wave down and a C wave up. Right now, they haven't got actually clear definitive targets on this just yet because we haven't actually completed this move at the point of recording. But this is probably the one that I think is more probable, and that is that we end up with some kind of ABC move up, and we find resistance up here at about 84.61, this pink line just across here, right? And this is also a possibility. So let me actually just tidy this up. And what I'll do is I'll just grab a horizontal ray and I'll park that one down here for this C wave low. And then I'm just going to quickly remove that. So there's our target down there potentially. Now, as we kind of think about moving this this way, right, and I'll take off the 5 waves as well. If we think this is an ABC up, it could also be that all of that there is an A wave. We have a B wave down, and then we finally actually get that C wave going higher, right? We could have something like this. Now, the second that we cross this higher line at 85.18, this is what is going to happen, okay? Once you cross this line here, you cannot have this line down here within the same wave count. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be proper. I mean, you could, of course, have an expanding flat correction and all that kind of stuff, but they're usually rarer than that. They don't normally come up. So there are scenarios where you could tick both of those off. But for the most part, for simplicity's sake, what we do is we'll say that if we cross this level of 85.18, then we shouldn't see 82.77 in the same wave count. Okay, so we'll just be mindful over that. So if we have this move, we breach this level, then we're probably going to be moving up to that upper target that I was talking about earlier, this B wave high. Okay, so this has been the target that we've been looking for on that greater scale, right? So we're going to keep an eye on that because that is where we're kind of thinking things are likely to go. Because, you know, all of this could just be the B wave anyway, and we could pull this down and say, there it is, it's done. But I like the idea of it coming up there towards that resistance line. Okay, so essentially that's kind of what we're looking at. This stochastic RSI on our hourly chart is oversold, just coming out of it, in fact. So we have room to grow. This would support this upward move, okay, and therefore we could be thinking we could hit this B wave high before we start to see any kind of major pullback again. Now, on the 4-hourly chart, we actually bring in the stochastic RSI down. Okay, we are overbought, just coming out of the overbought area, and this would support our bigger move to the downside, you know, as we've been talking about over the last few days. The 8-hourly chart is actually progressing up, right? So again, we could be looking at bringing everything a little bit up further towards our B wave high before we have any corrections. And the daily chart is actually oversold, right? So we've actually good corrections there, bringing us back down in line. And again, this actually lines up nicely for a macro move upwards rather than a macro move downwards, okay? But obviously, as you can see, we've completed this ABC up here. Then essentially what we're looking for is so kind of bring it back down again a little bit. And it doesn't have to be major. It's like I said, it could be done right there, and we could be tracking up towards our trend line. It's very possible, okay? But I do think that our stochastic RSI on our daily chart here has now got the ability to come up into the overbought area and hit our $1.03 target, okay? So it's $1.03 just up here on this C wave. This basically is our target for our descending trend line, okay? So that is now possible. Now, the weekly chart, on the other hand, is completely overbought. So this is also supporting our macro picture of once we hit that $1.03, to start to see some kind of major pullback, right? And that pullback, if I come back into our daily, I have coming down here into an E wave low. Now this, I think, is hopefully going to hold on the support line. Now the E wave in itself can be in multiple different, or it can be volatile. And what I mean by this is it can sometimes be short, and sometimes it can be overextended. Okay, so we don't really know. It's a bit unpredictable with that, but it should be 3 waves in itself, right? So we have a good mapping so far. This completing D, when we ever get up to that $1 level, that will complete that D wave with the ABC move, okay? Up here, you can see the C wave just there. Okay, $1.03, that's the target. And then we'll come down into an E wave. The E wave low target can be on this trend line, which would take us down towards 50 cents. And then once that happens, I think we end up with an explosive move upwards. Okay, so we are talking a little bit of time away here as we play this structure out. But essentially, we are talking about maybe moving up to some of these crazy, crazy high numbers. Now, on this scale, if I zoom this out, you can see that what we've got here from the lows of March 2020 is an A wave up. We've got a B wave coming down, which is all of this complex structure, which I think is an Elliott wave triangle. And then we've got the C-wave target going up to a 1-to-1 ratio at $9.97. Now, I think this has to coincide, this E-wave has to coincide with some fantastic news from the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, and you'll really get this traction going. At the current price, we're about 10x from that, so it's very, very achievable at this point, and we are looking pretty good for progression towards it. So ultimately, we're looking pretty comfortable on XRP, in my opinion, and I think there's going to be some discounts into this E-wave when that time does come. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet done so, check out Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. And with all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day. I'll catch you all in the next one.